and served it well. We are grateful to have with us today our very special guests, State Senator Gary Dillon, the National Director of Telamerica, Chris Yannickas, the leader of the Korean community, Reverend Han, and Pastor Ross O'Dell from the Trinity Evangelical Presbyterian Church of Columbia City, Indiana. And of course, the United States Marine Corps Honor Guard from Grissom's Air Force Base in Peru, Indiana. Access TV and Comcast Cable, who are filming this event today for future viewing on television, we are indeed honored. Commander Tyne Martin, our dear member of Chapter 259 who has traveled from Indianapolis to be with us today, we are deeply appreciative. And last but not least, I would like to thank Mr. Lars Quayling, Director of Middle School Operations at Canterbury Middle School, and his staff, and especially Mrs. Lynette Wallace, who is educating our next generation of Americans. Today, we are not only celebrating you, the peacekeepers of the world, but our second anniversary on television thanks to Access TV and Comcast Cable Television. As World War II brought the true meaning of freedom to the American public, it was a welcome home by a grateful nation. I would like to pay tribute to the men and women that stopped communism from spreading throughout the world. A group of American patriots that in some cases had to wait many years for their recognition. I'm speaking of the veterans of the Korean and Vietnam Wars who will be honored here today, along with our veterans in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Desert Storm. On November of 1950, in a line stretching from east to west, the U.S. Army, Marines, and the United Nations forces were brutally attacked by thousands of Chinese soldiers throughout the line of defense at the Manchurian border.
On Easter Sunday morning, April 1st, 1945, I landed on the shores of Okinawa with 40 other combat medics. We were the first ashore so we could get in the island itself and set up equipment, rooms, whatever we could find to care for the inevitable combat injuries that were to follow. Sometime between the 1st of April and, I guess about the 12th of April, we were out, teams of 3 or 4, looking for wounded and treating them on the spot. And then our runners would take them back to the tent hospital, or in the case of the most severely wounded, take them aboard a hospital ship. Today, I believe the combat medics are known by medic, corpsman, or whatever. Back in those times, everybody called us doc. Whether you were a doctor, a nurse, a medical technician, a litter bearer, or anyone else who wore the Red Cross on your helmet and on your jacket or shirt, you were known as Doc. This one particular day, 3 of the crewmen and myself were treating 5 other Marines who had been hit very badly by a rocket. And it was while treating these guys that I heard somebody yell, "Doc, Doc!" And I didn't pay much attention at first because people were always addressing us that way for little things or big things. But this voice persisted and it got very loud. "Doc, Doc!" here's a Marine coming across the dirt, plowing into the dirt with his elbows. He had to do that because from here on down, there was nothing. And I saw that, and I couldn't imagine anybody being able to talk or navigate being in that condition. Rightfully, this man should have been dead. Everything was going from his hips down. But he came on, Doc, you gotta help me here. And I went to him right away, and I told the other guys, I says, you take care of business here, I'll go see what I can do for him. And I went up to him, and he says, oh, Doc, thank God you're here. He says, I really need some help. And I said, well, I can see you do it, and we'll give you all the help we can. And I said, your legs are in pretty bad shape, you know. He says, I don't care about my legs. He says, I got something a lot worse than that. He says, it's the black hole. The black hole is right here, and they're trying to pull me in it. I says, tell me about this black hole. He says, oh, Doc, it's too terrible to describe. He says, there's all kinds of things in there that are pulling me in, and he says, I'm scared to death of it. He says, I can't go in there. He says, I'd rather you kill me right here on the spot and let me get in there. And oh, my mind's racing 100 miles an hour.